Hello there. Thank you for joining me again. Today's video is another Dear Debbie letter, and this one is a topic that we can all relate to. This viewer is asking, why do I keep attracting abusive relationships? I have a lot to say about this one, like always, so keep watching. When it comes to understanding why we keep having repeated experiences, they all have the same explanation. Why do we keep attracting abusive relationships? Why do we keep attracting jobs whose supervisors are, horrid people? Why do I keep attracting financial ruin or health issues or anything else? Why do you notice the consistency of a negative experience when it is the last thing in the world you actually want to do, right? And sometimes I know in the law of attraction world, the mere idea that you are attracting these unwanted things can really make you mad, because of course you would never consistently attract an abusive relationship, ever. Nobody wants that for themselves. So let me just remind you, if you haven't watched my videos, I'm going to give you a brief explanation of how this works. We send out vibrational frequency based on our emotional state, what we're thinking, what our belief systems are, etc. We send out this vibrational frequency, all frequency, just like radio waves, TV waves, and all that. Frequency carries information on it. That information is the reflection of us, of our thoughts and our feelings and all of that. So this frequency goes out and it finds a matching frequency. In other words, a frequency that resonates with it kind of finds it. They just sort of, like magnetic attraction. They find each other and that comes back to you. And so if you are sending out a frequency of all the things you don't want in a relationship, a matching frequency that resonates with that because it has like energy, like information, it's going to match up and that's going to come back to you. And you're going to meet a new person. And at first they seem different. It's a different person, right? It's not the same person. But after a while, start to notice the same patterns of behavior, the abusive behavior. It's like, my God, it's just like the last one. And the one before that, and the one before that. What is going on? Here's what's going on. What I want you to understand is that this frequency you're sending out, okay, is coming from a couple of different places. It's actually coming from like an infinite number of places. But for the purposes of this conversation, it's coming from two places. Your conscious mind and your subconscious mind, right? You got these two parts of you, they work together. They're both contributing information that's writing on this frequency, and together it equals 100%. But the conscious part of you, the part of you that says, I want a healthy relationship. I want somebody who's kind and thoughtful and generous, who treats me with respect, who is loving and affectionate, who loves animals, who loves babies, yada, 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 right? Your conscious mind knows what it wants, all that good stuff. But here's the thing. Between these two parts of you, the conscious mind, with all the good stuff, is only sending out 1 to 5% of that vibrational frequency, of that information writing on that frequency. Your subconscious mind is really running the show. It's sending out 95 to 99% of that frequency, meaning that information. And what's in the subconscious mind? Your history. It is your beliefs, your values, your habits, rituals, routines. And if you've had a negative, abusive relationship in the past, I think that it's pretty safe to say that you have thought a lot about it. You ruminated about it. You complained about it. You told your friends about it. In your own private moments, you probably cried about it. You may have spent a lot of time while you were still in that relationship in a state of fear and, fear for your life, fear for your safety. fear about how am I going to survive if I leave this relationship. So there's a lot of programming in the subconscious mind all about the story of this abusive relationship. So now I hope you have a better understanding. You're sending out this vibrational frequency from these two parts of you. The subconscious part of your mind, with all the crap you don't want, is the dominant frequency, meaning the information going out on the frequency is 95 to 99% reflecting what you've got going on in the subconscious mind. One of the common problems that my clients bring into me is that they can't stop ruminating about that negative relationship. And that's what they come for, is to say, I can't stop thinking about it. It's all I think about all the time. I'm undone about this, and I'm so sick of it, but I can't turn it off. What do I do with that? This is more than likely due to something I call emotional addiction. And I do have a full video on emotional addiction, and I encourage you to watch that to get a better understanding. But let me give it to you in a nutshell. Emotional addiction is something that happens when we consistently ruminate about an event. And it can be anything. It doesn't have to be a negative event. Usually those are the ones that bother us, right? We're not upset if we're ruminating about something exciting and fun and lovely. But when you consistently ruminate or think about or, talk about, complain about, worry about a particular subject, here's what's happening with emotional addiction. It's a three-part explanation. First part's the experience. Now, hopefully you understand that your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between actually having an experience or just remembering the experience or even making up the experience, okay? It doesn't have to actually be happening, but whatever it is, okay, let's say you're ruminating about this relationship. The whole time you're doing it, here's the second part, your brain's processing this information. It's bringing in all of that data through all of the senses. It's combining that with your filters, meaning your beliefs, your values, your cultural inheritance, et cetera, et cetera. It's figuring out, where does this experience fit into your world, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And the whole time it's doing that, it's releasing chemistry into your body. This chemistry is your emotional experience. That's all our emotions are. They're chemistry. If you want to change the emotion, change the chemistry. Throw some alcohol at it, right? Or some sugar, or, a myriad of things. Experience, brain processing, releasing chemistry. The chemistry is your emotion. Now, the key here to understanding emotional addiction is remembering that this is something you're ruminating about. It is consistent, okay, all the time. That means that this release of this negative emotion, okay, the chemistry of the negative emotion, is being released into your physical body on a regular basis. Well, what happens if you use heroin on a regular basis? Or if you drink alcohol on a regular basis? Or if you eat sugar on a regular basis, right? You'll become addicted to it because your body gets used to that chemistry. It gets used to it. It is accustomed to it. It's addicted to that chemistry. So if you have been ruminating over an abusive relationship, and we do, because usually when you're in an abusive relationship, you don't leave at the first sign of abuse. It's like, whoa, that was abusive, I'm out of here. No, you stay there thinking that's going to go away. It's going to get better. Or there's a million reasons. We both get into that. But you are ruminating over the situation repeatedly, which means you are dumping that chemistry of fear, and sadness and rejection and abandonment and more fear. Repeatedly, your body's addicted to it. So here's what's happening. You know what? When your body is getting its fix, it's fine. But the minute your body starts to run out of that chemistry, it knows exactly what thoughts to make you think about, so that then you will flip back into that negative pattern of thinking, and then you release more chemistry into the body, and it's happy. It got its fix. Have you noticed that you'll just be minding your own business, having a great day? You're at work, you're at a party, you're driving down the freeway, whatever, and boom, out of the blue, you start thinking about that abusive situation. Where does that come from? Well, it's your body saying, hey, I kind of need some of that chemistry, so I'm going to make you think about this stuff. Boom, that gets you all wrapped up in that so that you can give me some more of that negative chemistry that I love so much. Kind of crazy, isn't it? That may or may not be happening with you. I suspect it is if you are consistently attracting abusive relationships. So what are you going to do about it, right? That's the big question. How do I stop it? It's horrible. There is definitely a solution for that. And the solution can be found in learning how to access this subconscious part of your mind that's doing all the ruminating and modifying that programming, changing that programming, changing the focus and the topic that you are ruminating about. I recommend that you learn how to do self-hypnosis. It's amazing. And you can, with the use of self-hypnosis, you can start to rewire your brain immediately. You will start to notice change within 2 to 3 days of doing this the correct way. I recommend when you pick up the practice of self-hypnosis that you pick a topic and you stick with it for about 2 weeks, even though you're feeling better after a couple of days. So I have a book about how to do self-hypnosis. You could learn from the book. I have a course that teaches you how to do self-hypnosis. You could learn how to do it from taking the course. They do work well together, but you don't have to do both of them. But I'm going to give you just a quick rundown of the things that you would do. So let's look at this from the perspective of a mind movie. All of this negative ruminating about the abusive relationship has in fact created this mind movie. And you know that when you're ruminating about it over and over and over, it's like a little movie in your head, right? It's got a plot, it's got characters, it's got soundtrack, it's got all of that stuff. Well, we're just going to make a new mind movie for you. And in the process of reviewing this mind movie repeatedly, you rewire those neural pathways so that then you're sending out that information on this frequency. It's going to find a frequency that it resonates with the good stuff, and that's going to come back to you, and you are going to have a whole different experience with relationships. The first step in doing self-hypnosis, again, I'm not going to go through the whole process with you, but I'm going to give you a little bit of information that will help you. The first step I want you to do, this sounds crazy, I want you to look at all the abuse and all of the negative stuff, that whole story, and I want you to find the value in it. There's something about this experience that has brought value into your life. And I know that just sounds crazy, but here's why you want to do this. Right now, the information on this frequency is about the abusive relationship. And if we demonize that and say, that's wrong, that's bad, I don't want that anymore, well, you're sending that out and you're just going to find something that's wrong and that's bad and something you don't want anymore. It's going to bring that back. So we've got to make peace with it. Okay? The way we make peace with it is to find the value in it, the benefit. There's a little diamond in the rough in there somewhere. There is for everything. I don't care what it is. I was just working with a woman earlier who had a miserable, abusive relationship with her mother. Her mother was a mess and was not a good parent to her. And so rather than looking at the negative in that, I said, where's the value in that? She had a hard time finding it. And I said, are you a better parent to your own children because of it? And she said, oh my God, yes. I said, well, that's a lot of value right there, right? So think of the value. What is better because of what you've experienced? That has brought that gift to you. I want you to find at least one gift in that. There's many in there. And if you want some help finding the gift in that, I will help you with that. Just let me know. And once you find the gift, you can say, okay, thank you. And then you can talk to your subconscious mind and say, hey, you know what? That whole abusive situation that I went through, I'm able to see the value in this now. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to embrace that. So I want to thank you and I'm going to bless it and send it on its way because now, and then you're going to tell your subconscious mind why you no longer need that negative ruminating, why it no longer serves you, and what you're going to be doing now. You've got to figure out what you want. I mean, seriously, it's like It's like telling somebody that you want to, I'm going to hire a landscaper. I want new landscaping. He says, okay, what do you want? And you're like, I don't know. I haven't thought about it. But you got to think about what you want if you're going to get what you want. So the whole act of self-hypnosis is the practice of learning to think about what you want in a way that you put that information onto those frequencies, those waves, so that you send out to the universe this mind movie of what you do want. That's a very brief explanation of what you can do with self-hypnosis. The fact being is that if you are consistently attracting abusive relationships, it's not your fault. Don't beat yourself up over it. It's just the way the brain works. And it's just the way the brain works. Can you get out of it? Yes. And pretty quickly, I might add. Self-hypnosis is a fantastic way of doing that. If you would rather work with somebody, maybe the first time, just do a session with a professional such as myself or somebody else. That's a good start. And then launch into your self-hypnosis practice, because you can rewire your brain to attract everything you want into your life. Relationships, health, money, what kind of car you want, the place you live, it's all in your hands. It is under your control. So that's it. I hope that made sense to you. If that brought you a little spark of hope and really helped you kind of understand what's going on, please give me a thumbs up, drop some comments below, let me know what you think about this, if you could relate to this or not. I would appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. And keep those letters coming. I really like the whole Dear Debbie kind of thing. So let me know what else I can help you with. And I hope this was helpful to you. I'll see you next time.